welcome to the first episode of Pit a Cinema, where I watch a show or a movie and I'd be like, what do I think of this show or movie? For the first episode, we are talking about Chainsaw Man. To get off right off the bat, they have to be paying these MAPPA workers 5 cents an hour. There's no way these MAPPA workers are making this great animation with like getting paid pennies, because these guys are making Attack on Titan, they're making Chainsaw Man, they're going to be making One Punch Man in the future. I don't know what they're getting paid. They're getting pennies to make all this, because they're creating some of the greatest animation for some of the best shows out right now, for one of the hottest shows out right now. They cannot see their families for the rest of their life knowing they're going to make these animes. But getting off of the slave workers of MAPPA, we got to talk about the actual show, the show about Chainsaw Man. Now, first off, let me just say this show has like two different halves. When I was watching the show, episode 8 and below and episode 8 and forward felt like two completely different shows. Like if you showed someone episode 3 and then you showed someone episode 10, you'd be like, is this the same show? They look like the same characters, but they feel like two different shows. And the reason why, I took notes while watching the show, and I just so I can like remember what I was thinking of when I was watching these episodes. And one of the notes I took was the author horny 24/7 while making the show? Because that's how it felt, man. There was so much fan service. It was insane. Denji is like the perfect main character to push fan service forward. That was literally the whole show, about like Denji copying a feel and all that. Now, I like this show. I'm just putting out my grievances in the beginning of the video so I can talk about the good stuff later in the video. Now, I like the show. It felt like the author was horny 24/7, and talking about how the first half feels a lot different from the second half. The second half, it felt like the author finally stopped being horny for when writing the show, and he's like, all right, let me actually write some like action shonen type of stuff for this later half. Because towards the end of episode 8 and like at the start of episode 9 and forward, there was like no more fan service throughout the rest of the show, because after episode 8, they just dropped fan service. There's only like probably like one sentence where like Denji was like, oh, I'm doing this for Makima. There was like no more fan service for the rest of the show. Now, let me start off with the main character of Denji. Man, that guy is a fiend. Like, that guy is a fiend for copying a feel. Is down bad. In the beginning of the show, he is mainly down bad. He is broke. He has no eye. He says that he's missing a testicle. He sold it off. So this guy is living the worst life possible. He's broke. His parents died. So this guy is living a horrible life. He's working for like a mob boss, it seems. He's killing devils for paydays, and he's getting like cheap money, and he has to pay off a debt that's insane. I remember doing the math for it. I think it was like $500,000 in USD. So insane, especially when you're working for the guy who you have to pay off his debt, because there's no way that guy was giving him a fair amount of pay. I imagine like the jobs he was doing were like way more than what he was getting paid, because that guy seemed like a scumbag. Like that guy was not giving him a fair pay. Moving forward, I think their show really pops off when Denji like quote unquote dies. Spoilers for the rest of the show, because in this like series I'll be spoiling like every single thing for this show and every show I talk about here on forward. But Denji, he quote unquote dies. I really did think he died. I did like a reaction to the first 2 episodes of the show on my channel. You can go back where I react to the first 2 episodes. But pretty much Denji quote unquote dies. I really did think he was gonna die. I thought Pochta, which I love Pochta, I really want a plush of him. I've seen like TikTok videos of people having a plush of them and like pretending like they had a chainsaw. Funny stuff. I like that. But Pochta, an amazing character. I really thought he was going to be the main character. I knew nothing about the show, guys. Don't roast me in the comments. I really thought he was going to be the main character. So Pochta ends up sacrificing his life to save Denji, and then Denji comes back to life, and he has the powers of a chainsaw devil. And so he kills like everyone there, all the zombies and like the mob boss and all that. And then all of a sudden, like it seems like a government official, which is like Makima, pretty much says, I'll give you food, I'll give you a place to stay, and you'll live a normal life, which was kind of what Denji wanted. And it goes 1, because he's getting paid, and 2, because Makima is a girl. He wants to feel the pleasures of life, to put it simply. But this show really gets pick up going when we get the main cast. Like when we get the main cast, I feel like this is when the show fully hits its stride, because Power comes in, and I think Power is probably my favorite character of the show. She's just a fun character where like she's not a degenerate like Denji. She's not like a criminal like Makima, because Makima feels like a total villain right now at the end of the show. I'll talk about it later, but Power feels like the most sane person, which is crazy to say because she's also insane. Everyone in the show just has mental issues. It's crazy. Every character has baggage on them. But Power feels like the least insane one, and that's saying something. So Power is probably my favorite character, and plus she likes cats. And Aki is cool. He has a short life. He says he's gonna live for 2 years at the end of the show. 2 years is a lot in anime time, so I assume he's gonna be there for a while. JoJo's, they pause time for 6 seconds, and 6 seconds lasts like 3 episodes. So I think 2 years is gonna be plenty of time for him to be a main character in the show. And one of the characters that I had heard a lot about from Twitter simply was a girl named Kobe. Right now I have her written down as Kobe in my notes. I think she has a different name, but people in the show call her Kobe, which I think is pretty funny because, in case you don't guys know, I'm a big NBA fan, and Kobe Bean Bryant, the legend, the Mamba, the Black Mamba, Kobe, just a cool name, right? And from what I've seen of the show, I like her. I heard on Twitter she was pretty annoying, but she just seemed like a sane person. Like, she was a newbie and she didn't know what was going on. She wanted to live. She seemed like an actual real person, someone who wasn't OP. And apparently she has powers. I've written down one of the episodes. She does have a contract with the devil, but she never seems to use it. So she does actually have powers. We just don't see it yet. Hopefully we'll see it in the next season. But I do like what she does in episode 9 because, there's a granny with a gun who kills one of her teammates. And, she literally just stabs that girl in the head, which is insane. And then she fights the Katana Man. Fights, the Katana Man just pretty much runs away. But, she's like doing some like crazy backflips and parkour over like these devils. And, I think she hits him from what I remember. I'm not too sure, but I think she does like at least stab him once from what I remember. But she was a beast in episode 9. Pretty cool. Getting to the actual story. The story is like not that big of a thing in the show. It feels like there's a lot more action because like in every episode, it felt like we're getting a fight. And I'm not complaining. Every episode felt amazing. I think the story really didn't pick up till, like I said, the later half of this show. And, I liked it. I think this season was really just setting up for next season. And plus, it was only 12 episodes. Like, how much are you expecting to get out of 12 episodes? So, didn't really feel story heavy. It felt like we're really establishing the characters, the main cast. And I do like how they don't really explain the power system because they decide not to explain the power system. Because if you're watching anime, like, you kind of get what's going on. Like, there's a demon, we kill him, people have powers, simple as that. We don't need a whole power system explanation. We kind of know how this stuff works if you've been watching anime for a while. So if, like, you're a newer anime fan, like, maybe you'd be like, I don't really know what's going on. But, like, at this point, if you at least watch like Demon Slayer or like Jujutsu Kaisen or like Dragon Ball, you can like pick up what's going on. So it doesn't feel like too friendly to a person who's never watched anime, but like if you watch at least like 5 or 10 animes, you it's easy to know what's going on. Like unless like you're brain dead, you can easily pick up what's going on. So not very story heavy, it was mainly on the characters, like building up the cast, like Aki, Power, and Denji, and Makima. Now Makima, I have a lot to say about Makima. I did take notes on this, that they're giving her a lot of fan service of her. So I decided to take notes of how much fan service scenes we had of Makima. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but I heard a lot of people say that she had a lot of fan service. So I was like, on episode 3 and forward, I decided to take notes on how many shots there were. And the number is 2. There's only 2 ass shots, 2 fan service shots of her. Now, I'm not counting, like the story, quote unquote story, fan service points where it's like, Denji cops a feel and, like the whole finger in her mouth stuff. I did not count those 2 things as fan service. I only counted it as like, like fan service of like, man, this is a very awkward positioning of Makima's ass. Those are the only things I wrote down. So there was only 2 shots I was very surprised on. So Twitter, take an L because there wasn't that much fan service for Makima. But besides that, the story's pretty simple. The Gun Devil seems like to be the main villain of the show. They set him up to be a villain, like we don't really know like what his intentions are. It definitely feels like maybe he's not so bad of a guy because Katana Man seems like he's hinting at Makima and like that whole squadron of government officials isn't such a good guy as they're made to seem. So the Gun Devil, I am just very surprised that a lot of these characters get murked by simple gun. Like these characters have like, they're summoning in demon dogs, they're doing some like crazy missions, they're like fighting these devils left or right, like all of these devils, and they get killed by like a gunshot, which is pretty funny to me because like one of like the OP person who has like a ghost hand, I forgot her name, like she dies in the pretty soon when she gets revealed, so like I don't really care about her name. I'll put it on the screen if you guys to remember her name or who I'm talking about. But she gets like murked by a simple bullet to the shoulder, and she's just pretty much dead. And I did write something down about her, that Aki's master pulled the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because in case you guys don't know, Aki's master, I'll put her on screen, the girl with the eye patch, she pretty much sacrifices her body for like the ghost devil. They don't really explain how that ghost devil works, but you know, she pretty much like sacrifices her arm and then her other arm, and then all of a sudden she's just a pile of clothes, which, you know, Star Wars reference. I think maybe the show likes to pull pop culture reference, so maybe this is a Star Wars reference. And I put like, is she alive? Because like if I don't see someone die on screen, maybe they're alive. That's my thought. You know, maybe she's alive. I don't know. I'm not the writer. I haven't read the manga. Maybe she's alive. But besides that, the main villains seem to be the Gun Devil, the Katana Man, and the girl. Now, we know the girl just completely dies because apparently the Gun Devil like kills her with her own demon because, you know, no witnesses left behind. And the Katana Man, it seems like he's still alive. It seems like they're gonna like lock him up and interrogate him. That's what it seems. I don't know if the Gun Devil's gonna try to kill him too, so there's no loose ends and all that. But the Gun Devil, what I'm surprised is that like we don't really get to see him this season. He's just kind of feeling like this bigger character is like pulling the strings in the back, like puppeteering all the villains, which hopefully we see him season 2. But you know, season 2 seems to be like it's gonna be amazing because season 1 feels like pretty much a whole setup for season 2, and I can't wait for it. Now, to get off my opinions on what I think of the show, because I want to kind of give it an overall rating, and you know, I don't really have like a set rating for this series yet. So if I was to rate it, I'd give it 4 pochtas out of 5 pochtas. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of Pit of Cinema. I'll be doing more of these in the future, so if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more feature installments of this series. And letting you guys know, this is very heavily inspired by the Caravan of Garbage. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Sunday Movies and his podcast, amazing people, and you know, I decided to do my own twists on this with like anime series and shows that I personally watch. So I hope to see you guys next time. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below what you think of Chainsaw Man. Hope to see you guys next time. Later, hater. Peace.